So, ma'am, hello, welcome to the first podcast. And can you please introduce what all you do? What is this relationship coach about? And why did you take this?
Right. So, first of all, thank you for having me here. And it's my passion and pleasure always and to help people. And especially why is very important in life, as we say. So, you asked a very light question to start with that why I do what I do basically. And my relationship coach, I can do business coaching or anything like that. So, it's very close to my heart. Yes, from beginning, I was born in a small town and I was blessed that I had my father who's very positive and progressive in life. But I had a lot of friends who were from such communities where it was very clear that, you get married at the age of 18, 19. And let me say, there was not that the parents didn't love them. But the tradition was something like that let's get married. And once you get married, whatever your husband or their family decides, you do that. And of course, they were not happy. They had a lot of desires. They wanted to do something. And they always used to tell me, Paro, you are very lucky. Yeah. That's the time I used to motivate them. But yes, I had my limitations. I was also 16, 17. But I was very sure at that time that when I grow up, I would surely do something. Majorly women, I'll say. Why? Because all those friends were majorly girls. Especially I'm talking, almost 20, 25, 30 years back where, still in today's world, we are still having, your generation and you guys are coming up with equality. But that time, of course, it was a unsaid fact that the girls have to do this, men have to do that, and stuff like that. So I decided that I'll surely do something for where women understand what they really want. Of course, it's a society where we have to stay together, but relationship with self, number one, because then you're not dependent on the outside world to define you. And second, being aware of what your strengths are and not just, talking about, I can't do this because this one said that and this one is not allowing me. But if you're very sure inside, then everything outside becomes much more doable and positive. So while growing up, I think this was my main reason that I will surely help individuals to fall in love with the most important person in the mirror because that's the person we forget. Second, accept that this is where I am, this is my situation. In this situation, what best can I do? Lastly, yes, whether you start from the time we are born, your father, your brother, or so many relationships, and then husband, and then son. Uh, Normally in our society, start defining what you are doing. So relationship as a subject became very interesting for me. I have done masters in social work, and I have done a lot of psychology, such readings where I really understood that how our mind can be really tamed to do what you really want, but we keep going around the excuses or certain pressures, and we believe that okay, I think I can't do it because somebody's late. So to answer it shortly, I think this was there while I was 16, 17, that I will work with people to build up relationship internally first, and that is going to reflect outside in every relationship they live. So that's why I think I chose this specialization of being a relationship coach.
Nice, bro. I think like you said one part very beautifully, like accept and love, fall in love with the person who's in the mirror.
Yes.
So I see a lot of times where people could not accept what they are. So for them, what is the things which you want to tell those people, like, in terms of how to accept oneself? That is one thing which. So what is the thing which you wanted to portray to those people who can't accept or who is in a denial of what is acceptance?
Right, right. Very, very valid question because it's a fact. See, I'll speak about myself, and I'm sure you can relate too. There are days when we get up and I would feeling fine, right? Maybe certain situation happened, maybe somebody said something, especially in relationship. I'll give you example of my clients. Sometimes they come back whenever a breakup happens. So many times I get clients who they don't, they really can't, pinpoint what went wrong. And unfortunately, they start looking inwards and say, oh, I think I was not good enough, right? And it's tough to accept that. So I will surely say that I'm saying that accept it. But yes, the first thing is awareness before acceptance. So I always talk of 3A philosophy: awareness, acceptance, and action. So I have to be aware. Yes, this happened. maybe my fault, maybe not my fault. It's okay. So many times I get up and yeah, it is stuff like you heard this term, right? Bad hair day. A lot of us go through that, especially I think men also these days are very stylish. So when you're not looking that good, and you were 20 times looking in the mirror, and you say, "Yeah, I'm not looking nice." I there's something here, something there, right? It's and it's tough to accept, right? Because of course it's reality. Having said that, that's why I said I love talking because I've done international courses on self love. What I learned through that was that everything comes to you inside. So, what if my hair are not looking nice today? What if I'm developing little pimples here and there? Am I looking for outside recognition from those people who are more bothered about my pimples or my hair not looking nice? Or I am okay to have less people in my life, but they accept me for what I am, right? So, this is the question I always feel, and I tell my clients to first be clear, what are you looking in life for? Because if you are looking for such relationships, I'm not saying, see, every relationship in our life will not be very close. So I'm sure you've heard about circles also. You have innermost circle, then you have the next friends level circle, then you have the next. So there are 3 to 4 core circles, what we define in our counseling also. And I have to understand that which circle till where I'm expecting what, and how much I am also wanting them to accept till what level. So I'll simplify. Of course, anything coming from your innermost circle is hurtful. If they say something, they do something, yes, it will be very tough. But now, if I start getting impacted from my fourth circle, there's something I have to relook into. So, acceptance can be a very beautiful thing, but before that, awareness has to come. I'm aware. See, I'll give again my example because I believe that, I should first talk about where I started my journey. Like, I'm never good in maths. I was never good in maths. When the Indian standard, trust me, when I came back after my exam, my mom was laughing. I tore off all my maths books and I said, I will do anything in life, but I don't want maths, right? Whatever I was,
A lot of people you would do.
right. And but I accepted that and I was very sure. What I did after that, I've done masters in social work, I've done a lot of other courses, but there was no maths in it. Now, if I would have wasted my time because the world was expecting, or even if my parents were accepting, finally, so I sat with them and I told them, see, this is not my strength. Let me work on my strength, because I am personally telling you, yes, that I don't believe that I keep working on your weakness. You will make it your strength one day. If you can, nothing like it. But I knew, I accepted the fact that accounts or maths, mere bas ki baat hai, I can't do it, right? So better, I focused on the things which I'm good at. And I feel very nice when I look back in my life that I did all the things which were needed to add up to my qualification of helping people. So accept it, know where you are, and then work on your strengths. That's going to help you to practice it better.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because acceptance, especially for this generation, it takes a little bit of time. I mean, like, I'm not denying that, like, even when we look into the mirror, okay, my hair is a little bit like this, like, little goes a little, okay, do I look now? So, when it comes to the recognition part, and especially in the business field, or if I take into uh, students, yeah, so they definitely want that recognition. They want to look good, they want to feel good, but it should come from outside good.
Right.
It should come from us, some other person. That's why they feel good. Until unless someone tells them that, okay, you look good, they will not be feeling good. So, especially for students, for them, it's like if you tell them, like, be self aware. So they'll be like, okay, it's all just like going over my head, like, what is this, and all stuff. And you told me that you have consulted a lot of students, especially like in the age of teenage, 21, 16 to 21. So for those people, you will have anything to add up to have the self-awareness, to have that self-respect, self-esteem. So all the stuff, like, for, especially for the students category. So do you have anything which you want to tell as a case study or anything, Ati?
Yes, surely. Yeah, so I can give you an example. As you rightly said, the word case study. I had this girl once. I was working in one of the school. As you know, my profession is confidentiality, so I will not be naming anything. But having said that, yes, there was this girl who was having always this challenge. She always had, a partners in life. And a girl means I'm talking about a 22, 23-year-old person. But always her, when she came to me, she had labeled herself, I'm not good enough. When we went a little deeper, it came out that she was given this impression, whether her parents meant or did not. She came from a little traditional family, and she was a little creative girl. So whenever she used to say something that something different from the league or the expectation of the family, she was told, "What are you talking? This is not it is supposed to be. This is supposed to be like this, right?" So what happened while she was growing up? She felt any answer she gives or anything she is doing is not good enough because it was not aligning with what her family was expecting. So it started from there, which could have been a very casual, situations in her life. But by the time she was in her teenage, 16, 17, this sat in her mind that, whatever she's doing, she has to get some outside validation to think that this is right. So when she got into different relationships, most of the time she was just proving herself because she wanted attention. Because at home she was majorly told that she's not good enough, right? So what happened? Every relationship, instead of being in that relationship, she was always giving in too much, and she was always wanting to prove that, look at me, look, I'll do this for you. I'm available for you. Yes, 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 kind of a thing. It that she lost her identity, obviously. And that is why any relationship was not lasting too much. Reason being that she was always giving too much, crossing all the boundaries, and people were using her more than really being genuinely there. So, what I feel that exactly what I started this conversation with, first be very clear, this is what I am, this is what I'm looking for. And of course, we have different circles, as I'll come back to that, as I was saying, different circles of life. You will have certain friends who are very close to you. Then you will have certain people, I'm not saying friends there, you will just go clubbing, you will just, go out, enjoy with them, and that's about it. Your relationship with them is that much, right? There'll be some people in your office or college, wherever you are, where you have more of a colleague relationship, right? So, first, define your relationship, is my message first. Please understand what is this relationship for you and for the other person. It cannot be one way. So, the moment we say relationship word, it is two ways, right? And both parties and both people have to understand that how it is. So even if I am madly in love with somebody, but somebody else is not responding, me as a person have to at one stage. I'm not saying that you from one day will just give up on it. You will try your level best and maybe you'll communicate. So I think in relationship, second thing is communication, right? Communicate. This is what I feel. This is what I think this relationship is. But if it's not moving somewhere, you must know where your boundary is, till what extent in any relationship. I'm saying not only in a particular relationship, but of course with parents and all, it's very different. It's family, right? So as I said, that core is very different. You deal it very different. But otherwise, you must know that in any relationship, how far will I go? What is my stretchable boundary? And after that, as you said that word, am I losing my self worth? Is my self esteem going down in this relationship, and to just pull it up or maintain it? Or, am I giving in too much? Or am I being equally respected from the other person? So, to sum it up, that in a relationship, number one, respect. Number one, you're defining that what are you wanting from there. Thirdly, as I always say in all my, whenever I talk, that you must know the purpose for everything, right? What am I wanting from here? And last but most important, am I my self worth or my self esteem? Are these two things intact in this relationship? If not, please go back and think about it.
Nice. Okay. Can you explain a little bit more on the circle side, because that was pretty interesting, and we don't know. Sometimes we miss out person, like we give it for the inner circle who is not. I would say not capable. I would say he's not coming to the circle, but we still keep it there,
Yeah.
and he is not valuing that inner circle. So can you explain the circles which you have? Yeah.
Yes. So as I said, innermost is like, I admire, and one of my gurus is Louis Hay, who talks a lot on self love. And she always says that the connection with source is very important. Some of us who have not had great childhood, some of us while growing up did not had that communication or connection with our parents. She always says, and it's a belief that that source we have to always keep intact. If it was not, once you grow up, you are capable enough to talk it out. Like, understandable, when you were small, you didn't know how to deal with situations. Maybe they also did not know. So I love that one part what Louise always talks about it, that we all are victims of victims, right? So that inner circle, that source circle, things are not going fine. You do anything to make it at least willing to talk on it. I'm not saying that, after that also everything will be really that, okay, I agree. We can agree to disagree. But that connection to source is very important. So that's my innermost circle, and I do anything for that. I must try that out. Talk it. The next circle comes of those people whom I really care for. Maybe they are my friends, maybe they are relatives, maybe they are cousins or whatever. Uh, or maybe nobody. I mean, not directly related, maybe a colleague, but there is a respect, there is a communication, and that relationship, there's a mutual giving and taking. So again, I something in me is getting satisfied with that relationship, and I'll do anything to really keep it intact. That's great. Now, third ones in the outer circle comes where there are people who are there. They exist in your life. So you really can't be like, for example, if I'm working somewhere, people will exist, right? I mean, I can't just keep leaving offices or leaving job because, some people I don't gel with, right? So how can I learn that outermost circle, and there where life skills come? How can I have interpersonal skills and intrapersonal skills and develop them to deal with those people? So basically, where there are different kind of tools and techniques in my coaching and counseling, I say, how can I handle those people? Because quitting or running away from situations comes in those areas, right? Those outside areas, because they exist. You cannot say, okay, I will not. Like, you have a friend's friend and that friend is very close to your friend. You can't be breaking your relationship with your close friend just because you don't like that third person. So how do I handle such people or such situations? There I always feels that life skills of communication, life skills of self-awareness, as we were talking about, life skills of communication also, Yash, is not communicating. Silence is also big communication. And a lot of people don't understand it. Sometimes if you're silent and you're not all the time proving your point, is a communication. So that is what we all have to learn, that which circle am I sitting? What is worth it? Is this argument or this kind of a not so positive exchange of thoughts is leading somewhere, right? And if not, can I just withdraw? Because that is my third circle. So I really don't have to, really take it to that level where I spoil my relationships and I'm not able to come back and I spoil the work environment or college environment or whatever it is, right? So how to make yourself aware that where am I sitting, what is this relationship, how much it matters to me. Accordingly, I'm able to adapt. I'm not saying compromise. That's another word I would like to say, because again, when I do one-on-one coaching, so many times I hear this word compromise. I don't think we should compromise in any. We can adapt. So there are two things that I'll elaborate on, that I know your next question will come. What is the difference between compromise and adapt? See, compromise is where I'm killing my own self somewhere. I am not respecting my own feelings and I'm just giving in too much. That's a compromise.
Yeah.
Adaptability is leading somewhere to empathy. I understand Yash this is his personality. I have this personality, but if this relationship has to go, I adapt, I empathize. Okay, I understand from where you are coming, and I know where I'm coming from. And there, where we keep this relationship alive by our empathetic adaptability, then there are very less chances of any rift, because we are respecting each other's boundaries. We are respecting, each other's background also. See, today when we are both of us are sitting, we might we completely combine. My parenting has been very different than yours, and otherwise and same like yours, right? But if somebody is into a relationship, then you have to understand that. And I always give this example, that how in our Indian society, because I know more of Indian society, so I'm giving that example, that when a girl is married, whatever religion you belong to, within that one night or within that one day of rituals, she's expected to go in the other house and forget everything what she has learned for 20 plus years, right? I really want to question that and say that, and I'm putting it to, because I am a firm believer that more than women, I think if all of I'm also a mom. So if we educate our boys how to handle this difference of brought up, I am very sure the relationship part everywhere will be much more understandable, right? So to come back, empathy, attitude, adaptability helps in moving forward in relationships, and then you respect each other. Compromise, the moment you say this word, I'm sure if I tell you to think of it, suddenly you will also think, yeah, I'm not doing what I really want to do, but ठीक है, yaar, for you, I'm doing it. So there is a uh, somewhere in the system a blame that, see, because of you, I'm doing this. Obviously, that relationship is tough to last long.
It to make sense. Yeah. It's kind of a different perspective. Little opening. A little eye opening. Well, when it comes to relationship, I know like a lot of things have changed. Yes, from well, I would say 90s to 2025. Yeah. The relationship, the love, the commitment, everything is. I would say no, not everything has changed. It's the same thing, but the culture, I would say I can start with the hookup culture. So that thing already came into existence when this in this number, I think like 3 4 years back or something last.
Right.
So for those things, like I would say like a lot of people will miss out love, especially this teenage like maybe 18 to 23 or something. They are they'll want this hookup culture, but are they losing out the love? Is there anything which you have faced from your case study, or
Yeah.
is there anyone who have come to you for this kind of particular questioning or something like that?
Yeah.
Like,
So I remember you had asked me a few days back about it. Yes, very true. So yes, times have changed, right? And we have to accept it. And this I'm also mentioning to the parents who are watching this. That so many times, again, because I do parental counseling also, I do young adult, because obviously when I work with young adults, the parents I got. And it's a very common thing when we say, यार हमारे ज़माने में तो हम नहीं करते थे. I never used to do that. So 100% we have to understand that times have changed. I do not have social media. I do not have so much of exposure that what's happening in US, what's happening in Europe. I didn't know that culture. So I was very happy in our own culture. And everything has a positive and not so great thing. Now chat GPT is there and stuff like that. It's great. It's great for knowledge. But if you completely depend on it, yes, you get influenced. And sometimes, whatever said and done, human touch is very important, right? So what was happening earlier, because exposures were not there, there were hardly much of TV or social media, so people were communicating more. We used to talk, like I do remember, I think we were all each other's counselors, all the girls sitting together, friends sitting together, and talking about parents or talking about, oh yeah, this is not happening nice in my life, and then somebody sharing their life, somebody sharing. Now if you see, if in a restaurant also you go, a family is there, everybody's on mobile. Right? So I can criticize it, but at the same time, I have to learn to accept it. This is where we start, right? Coming back to it, when you said the hookup culture, I see it little differently. As I said, that we are all what we are while growing up, and there are certain things where I watch and I become what I am today because of my experiences, which I've gathered over the period, either from my family or while I was growing up in the school, college, and whatever. So I feel, number one, whenever, and there has been, as you said, that yes, there have been, my clients who have been into relationship back and forth. And when I question them why, it's basically they're searching for something and I'm not getting it. So I just feel it's okay. Like move on, move on. So these days you'll see this word quite a lot. Oh, let go. Let's move on, right? It's great to move on. It's not like that. But point is that what are you moving from and where are you moving to? It's very important. Are you clear on that, right? Uh, as I said, my first always thing is that, I completely speaking this from a very non-judgmental thought process, because every individual has a right to decide what they want. But I'll go back to self-love again, right? What is missing in me, which I'm searching in others? So while growing up, what was missing in you, if you think about it, then you'll realize, what am I really looking for? I can go, say I'm going for shopping. It becomes something like that, right? I don't like this. I don't like this cup. I like your cup better. Okay, I'll leave this. I'll take that. Then I suddenly see something else and I leave this and do that. It's okay as far as products are concerned, right? But when it is relationship, you are putting your mind, body, and soul. I mean, that's a fact, right? Whether it is maybe casual, but not necessarily the two people are always casual. I have seen, again, I'm coming from experience, though they say live in relationship, though they talk, oh, we are just, just hanging around. That's a word, quite commonly used now. I'm hanging around. But there's something called emotions, and it comes automatically, maybe not for both, maybe one person. So, how much are you creating? I'll go back to creating boundaries. How much will you go back and check, this is my boundary, right? And that nobody else can decide for you. So even if you are into multiple relationships, single relationship, doesn't matter. You must know this question: what am I running away from, and what am I looking for? It will come back again from that mirror I told you. Somebody is watching, right? Talk to that person, introspect a bit. Casually it's okay, no problem. But then one stage, if it is not hurting you, but I get a lot of such clients where they are getting hurt, even because they feel, okay, hanging around means no commitment, but there's something which is pulling them still for that commitment, right? And if it's not working out, then maybe you're in the wrong space. Just because my friends believe in a hanging out culture, maybe I don't. I might go on that path for some time, but then after one stage, I'll be not happy. So, this peer pressure of what others are doing, and should I also try it? Yeah, go ahead and try, and that's not a problem. But what are you running away from? So, if they'll sit back, somewhere, see, sometimes people are able to get these answers. Sometimes that is why, if you will see, mental health is becoming a very important aspect of our life. I go to gym, I injure my elbow. What will I do? So I'll go to the doctor. I'll go get physiotherapy done. I'll understand. Oh yeah, this is maybe tennis elbow or something like that, and I'll work towards it. But hurts which are mentally, hitting us, we don't see them. So there is no thermometer to check that fever. I pop Dolo, I pop any medicine. Because the moment I see, oh, this thermometer is showing 102 temperature, but there's no thermometer for here, right? So very, very important. That's why mental health is becoming a very, very important thing. The way you are giving importance to your physical health, please look out. If you can't help yourself, talk to your friends. If you don't have friends, talk to counselors. There are people available. But the more you suppress it in your system, because you are having this culture of following somebody, it hits you, because you are running away from who you are. I said the source, whether it is source of parents or it is your own self, right? uh, it's going to hit you sometime, and sometime it's too late. And people, I'm seeing, when I talk to so many of my clients, somebody's just popping pills, not even consulting a psychiatrist, and it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. I have seen in today's 16, 18, 20-year old, I'm very surprised, but over the counter they just get those depression pills, and it's becoming a trend. But where are we going with that? What will that depression pill do? That will just suppress. It's not curing. So if we don't, the way I said about tennis elbow, I'm curing it by taking a right medicine. For mental health, the right medicine is number one, to please take it out, don't suppress. It's nothing right and wrong. It's my thought process. Have your friends involved, have your close people involved, have your parents involved. I don't know, whatever relationship you have. And if not, then are professionals available. Please talk to people and you will figure it out the way that medicine you popped in and your pain went off. Why not be open to work on yourself, on your mental health, and figure out, this is what I am, this is what my culture is, I believe in it, and I'm not running after what world is doing. Automatically, you will be able to know what is right and wrong for you, because all of us will have our own definition of what's right and what's wrong. And if I don't follow your definition, I'll be much more happier. If I'm going on your definition, end of it, I'm not connected with myself. So there, where I think this, whatever culture we call hanging out culture, cup culture, my answer to that is please question yourself. What are you looking for, and what is it giving you? If back and forth hanging out is just giving you more stress, then you will know it's not worth it. If you are feeling fine about it, it's okay.
That's true. That's actually, people will miss out what they want because they're just running around with different people so that they could get some kind of justification for running there. The pills, there's bills, man. There's rituals happening in a lot of this age in sport. And coming back to the corporate picture, as well, like I say, so you told you like stress. So and work-life balance and everything is that. So people are talking more about that. Uh, what is the thing which people has to do? Like, when of course lot many of the software engineers are there who do not want to become a software engineer, right? For just because of money. I know it's a good thing, but they'll end up having that same pressure, and they'll be like, okay, every day there'll be the same drama, like, oh, on concentration, okay. And at the end of the week, they'll drink, they'll forget again Monday the same. So for them, how to make it life more easier? What is the things which you wanted to tell to those people to make it much more easier, like
Right, right,
stress less, like
right, very right. So yeah, as in now we are shifting from the young adults to the real adult.
I have a lot of questions about the ignorance as well. Right, I'll come to that.
Yeah, and that's important. See, again, it's coming from somewhere. No, we can't be okay till here. We are this, and then till we are carrying all these emotional, as you said, dramas or whatever. That's the reality. So, very good question. And again, I have clients who exactly what you said. I'm not happy, but I'm carrying on with this. What I feel, Yash, is that see, I'll now go on the other side and the practical side of it. It's not possible for all of us to really live what we want to live. Fact of life. I can't just keep giving up on jobs. I have family. I mean, when we are talking of this section, family is there, kids are there. You can't just say, okay, I'll just do my profession. If you can do your passion, nothing like it. So a lot of time people make their passion as their profession. We are seeing these days at the age of 40, 45, people are leaving corporate jobs and going there. But yes, it's not possible for everybody. So I'll come down to few mantras which I feel and which I again tell to my client, because I have few corporate clients who have exactly the same thought. How can I, again, the 3A philosophy, awareness, acceptance, and action. Now I'm aware that I'm not happy in this zone, right? I have to accept it. Can I quit and start something? Or I cannot at the moment, right? If I can, awesome. There are career counselors. I mean, career counselors are no more for young adults. So, they guide people who are wanting to switch their careers and they talk about it. Nowadays, I'm seeing a lot of time this suddenly the bug of being an entrepreneur is coming. It's great, but you must know. So do your homework well. And if those people who can do it, nothing like it. But suppose you are stuck where you're stuck, and at the moment your family situation, your financial situation is that you really can't change, then there are few things, and there where when I was talking to you, I believe that certain things like physical fitness, mental fitness, you make it a part of your routine. So are you at least doing 10 to 15 minutes of meditation? So let me say, suppose, so this is for those, as you said, that who say every Monday to Friday they are just done, exhausted, and Saturday they'll drink out and go for party, and then Monday again they are there. So this message is for them. If right now you are where you are, so your awareness, acceptance is there, action plan can be that at least figure out what you love doing. So go back to your time where you, suppose in college, you love dancing or you loved some sports. Get into something like that in whatever time frame. So of course, maybe Monday to Friday you can't. But there are people I know, again, as I guide, there's some of them have joined some dance classes. One of my client was, she loved dancing and it was one of her dream to become a dancer. Whatever life threw at her, and she's there where she is. Trust me, during our sessions, when we started pointing out, so when I do my one-on-one coaching with them, we start figuring out what are your powerful areas which you have lost, while you grew up. So somebody will come out with, okay, I love badminton. Somebody will come out, I love cricket. Somebody says, I used to love reading and stuff like that. So my recommendation is, please add, number one, little spirituality or prayers or anything in your life. I'm not going for bigger goals. 10 minutes. 10 minutes of sitting with yourself. Nowadays, everything is available on YouTube. Put any, meditation, guided meditation, whatever you want. Or if you believe you're a religious person, put prayers. Sit in your room for 10 minutes. Start your day with that. While you get up, don't just rush. Most of us have this habit while it's just next to us. While they're lying down, we are sick that. So, you see, action. So I'm coming to the third day, which is very important. I can choose to be aware and accept, but if I don't convert it into action, it's not going to make the difference, right? So can I just, when you get up, spend 10 minutes, even before brushing, just sit on your bed for 5-10 minutes. And if you're so used to mobile, just go on YouTube and switch on that meditation instead of watching the WhatsApp. Just do that. 20 minutes of walk, I'm sure it's possible. Morning or evening, I'm not saying, but something physical. It's a proven fact. You can do more than that, nothing like it. But I'm a firm believer, Yash, that small steps make things happen. Start with 20 minutes. Most of us otherwise will say, yeah, no time, I'm rushing, I'm running. You are coming back wherever that I'll leave out you. 20 minutes of workout, yoga, walking, whatever you can do. Don't say, oh, I have that class, which is walking is in our hand, right? I do not join any class, right? Just go down for 20 minutes, maybe in the evening or whatever. So mental, physical. Then very important, attach with one of your anything, what you love doing. What you love doing. People love reading. So I have a client who has now started on Sundays. She just takes out all Instagram and everything. She just, because obviously, again, all of us know we can't resist. So she just deletes all the apps. That's a routine now. It's become a routine. So because Sunday is a time you will be a lot on social media otherwise. So she deletes early morning, that's her work. And of course, she reached that stage after we both worked on it. And she loves reading. So that day she has only put for reading. So she finishes her house work, whatever. And after 12:30, she just keeps her phone out. And everybody, as I said, in the inner circle knows about it. So they have also all adapted to it. And she's reading. So what happens by the time Monday is there, she's all set. She's happy. She's mentally there that, okay, I've done what I love doing and I'm ready for the coming week. So figure out what are your such hooks which give you joy. I'm not saying happiness, joy. Happiness is still what you're doing for the world. Joy is something with it. So, like for me, for example, music is always, and my work, because I run another business also. So I am sometimes traveling from one place to the other. I always put music in between. I won't take calls when I'm stressed up, right? And I'll just, those 20 minutes rejuvenate. So figure out what rejuvenates you. That is your mantra. And you make sure that you put it in your calendar somewhere. If you can put it every day, nothing like it. Like for me, 10 minutes of music is not a problem. I do it. Yeah, right? And that has helped me. So I can't leave what I'm doing. I can't be craving, oh, bagre, itna hai, time nahi hai. Bangalore traffic, Bangalore traffic, Bangalore traffic. Everybody talks about it. Over the period, I will not say, yes, I was also prepping 3 years back. But now I have made it a habit that traffic is there, my car is there, music can be on always, podcasts can be on. I love listening to podcasts. So figure out what gives you joy and take out some time, 10 minutes. Don't go like people say half an hour, 1 hour. Mat karo 1 hour, yaar. Just do 10 minutes of it. And if you do that, somewhere mentally, you will not know, your subconscious mind will be relieved that thank God you're not just pushing things on me, you're doing something which I love doing, right? So that's all. So make your problem solutions simpler and doable and practical. Bigger things sometimes don't work for us, but smaller chunks of doable solutions work out. Try that, and then you can always go the next step.
True, that's it's like it's so simple and you like I think then we make it much more complicated and sometimes. So that's a good point. That one's a good point. And since you mentioned about, I know that you're successful in a different business as well. And I want to understand your journey on that. Like especially being a woman and comes in a different era. And how did you start your entrepreneurship? What is that you do? So I just wanted to understand like how what is the success mantra what happened.
Right. Right. So, well, yeah, good. You've touched a very emotional point for me always. Reason being, yes, I was doing code when I finished masters in social work. I got started working with physically challenged people, and I then had my journey 2 3 years. I think I just worked, and then uh, got married. And what I was telling others that you should not lose your identity. I think that happened with me too, because I was dependent on my husband because he was into a corporate job, and then he went to US, and then we came. So obviously I could not do what I wanted to do. And I think this frustration was building up in my system that I really wanted to unleash and do something, but no family requirement was there, and I was very happy. So good part is, as I said, awareness and acceptance was always there in me, that this is my role right now as a mom, as a wife, as a person in the house who needs, the house, the family needs me. I did that. I think 12, 13 years passed by, Yash, and that was the first time I was diagnosed with thyroid. And I'm a firm believer from that time, because I have a I think I'm a good learner. So I kept reading or doing some courses in between. So I never wasted my time like that, because I always wanted to do something. As I told you, that keep doing what gives you joy. So learning was one of the joys. So I was in touch that how mind and body really works together. So I was in college time, I was a sports person. I was always very fit. So when, thyroid challenge happened, I know today people will say, oh, it's nothing. But when it hit me, it hit me because I was a very healthy person. So I thought, what's happening? Why? That's the time for, and my father is a doctor. So I have been brought up with a very logical medical world, right? And when this happened, I met somebody. I think, कहते हैं ना कि when you are ready, then things start coming from the universe. So I did start opening up myself to alternate therapies. And that's how I attracted few friends who were into it. So पहले तो earlier Parul would say, "Hey, leave it, yeah. What are you talking about? What is this, like pranic healing, or what is XYZ things? Oh, past life, oh, nothing like past life happened." But situations came up like that. I had cyst again so 2 years back to back, the health challenge happened. And I realized that there's something in my system which is not accepting what's happening in my life. And when I, went to these alternate therapies, and I thought, chalo, try karte hain, just like that. It came out that this is all my frustration of years, because I always felt I had a lot of potential, but because I kept suppressing it in various forms, it was coming. So I thought, chalo, let me dive into it. So I have done pranic healing courses till, third level. And then I went into this alternate therapy. And I realized that I think I am not living what I want, because I'm a happy go lucky person. So I kept going, oh, yeah, yeah, it's fine. Life is there. But somewhere in my subconscious, the suppression was there. And there, where I then sat down with my family and I said, I think, I really need to release it. And I think somewhere I'm getting frustrated, because I felt that I would have been in corporate world and I would have been the VP of some company by that time. And I'll thank my family for sure, though kids were not that big, but they were so mature to understand. And that's where my journey started. I met few friends, we came together. And because women challenges were very close to my heart, uh, somehow, again, I will say, because now today, if you ask me, I'm a huge believer of universe. I'm a huge believer that you ask and you get at the right time. You might be thinking that this situation is not giving what you want, but maybe something better is waiting for you. So I think my life somewhere turned around like that. And I met few people, and we started this company called Celebrate Life. It's a salon and wellness company. And why salon? Because I again felt that when I had these clients, most of the people are so dependent on the outside beauty. And I felt there was a huge opportunity that if I start this business, I will be able to touch upon people's life by saying, hey, get a facial done, be there, but don't do it for, oh, I want to be fair, I want to look good for others. A simple haircut can give you confidence, frankly. And when that happens, and when you go to the outside world, you are able to deal with people. It's a fact. Yes, I don't know how many times you have. Well, I started with bad headache. Sometimes one hair also coming out, and then I go and get a nice haircut, and you feel, oh, wow, it's same. It's you. You are same only. Nothing has changed. But something, that physical appearance gives you confidence, right? So I think that's why I started this journey. So to cut it short, God has been kind. Now we are into 50 centers in Bangalore. We have started our ventures in outside Bangalore, also Pune, Chennai, and Hyderabad. We are into apartment model where we open up salons, the apartment. And trust me, again, I'll say, as I said, small steps. If you have asked me 15 years back, I didn't think that we are going to, have a vision of 100 centers and stuff like that, right? But those little chunks kept adding because my intent was very clear that I am there to make difference in people's life. 100%, I'm not saying, and I'm going to make difference in my life because financial freedom for women is one of my major mantras. And that's why I came out with this model also where a lot of women who are, who have not worked, maybe they are looking for a model where they can be financially free. Corporate women who were working and have gone back to their houses, but they really have a lot in them are again, wanting to work. So, Celebrate Life helps them a franchisee model where they become our partners and we help them. Along with that, I also do my coaching and counseling with them, wherein, as I said, mental and physical, right? So mentally, I do help them in business coaching. Also, I have a team which works with them, so I work on the emotional part of it. My team members are there who work on how to grow your business. So what I'm saying today, where I stand, and that is my story, that to give up. There were a lot of physical challenges. There were a lot of challenges. Trust me, especially we as women are known to add guilt in our, system very early. Oh, am I a good mother? Or am I a good wife? Or am I a good businesswoman? Also, so many times, of course, it is business. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. And in my journey, yes, so many times it happened that once or twice when the business went down, I thought, oh, yeah, maybe it was right. Because some people on the way said, Parul, do you think you can run business? And it hit me. I was telling you those circles. And sometimes that very close circles also will say something to you, right? And yes, in spite of me being a coach, in spite of me knowing everything, it did take some time for me to understand that it's okay. This is their perspective and this is what they think. And initially, so many times when I lost into anything, like whether a relationship or financially, whatever, I also went into that cycle. Am I good enough for this particular thing? Am I good enough in this particular relationship, right? But then, thank God, because I had my hooks intact and I had few people around me who always helped. But it all came within. I will surely give credit to all the people around, but I'll surely say that person in the mirror gave me the maximum strength. I sat down with myself and I always believe, and that's what, as you asked, how I came up, I never gave up. Number second, please separate yourself from the role you are playing. I'm a mom. I'm playing that role. I've done that job. Come back to yourself, right? Those are the roles, and your roles don't define you, right? Those are roles you are doing, and you are not there to prove yourself. As I said in the beginning, lot of times we are trying to prove ourselves in everything which we do, and any goof up there, it comes and sits on. Oh, did I do the right thing? No, you must have a boundary. You must know this is your best. You can do the best, and then rest is taken care by somebody on their life, or even if it's children, right? Or if it even if it is business. Whatever you can do the best, and then come back to your hook. As I said, be grounded. And how it helped me, like I have a routine now. I am open to spirituality. A lot of people, I listen to podcasts. I keep listening. I do reading, as I said. I love music. So even if I'm very busy, I'll take out that, someday half a day or sometimes I'll block 2, 3 hours, go watch a movie. Always I can have excuses. I don't have time. And this is unfortunately, the most common excuse we have. But what if I love Shah Rukh Khan? I have to quote him, Kal bo na ho, right? And that's a fact of life. If it's not there, then what? Trust me, Yash, the reality has hit me also that if I also go away from the world, people might cry. Of course, they'll cry who are close to me, but nothing will stop. 1 day, 2 day, 4 days, and we've seen it. I mean, big industrialists, big people from this world who were, we used to look up to. Few days, there is a vacuum, but then light goes on, right? So it's a very important thing I want to tell everybody, whether it's a teenager, whether it's a parent, whether it's a young adult or grown up people, understand you also have one life right now. Of course, people who believe in past life, I'm not going there, but this is the life I know at least. What are you making of it? Question yourself, right? Is it worth it? If you find it's worth it, you will have your answers, right? Is it worth it that you say, oh, I could not give time to my family? We see so many interviews, and it is very sad. I want to bring it up for sure that so many young lives we are losing. One is physically, so heart attacks or things happening, but suicides have become so common, which is a very disheartening thing. I always believe, I think we could help them. So be aware when a friend of yours is not behaving the way they were behaving. Don't let them go away. Pull them. Somebody is saying again and again, yeah, they're very sad today. Instead of saying, Arey yaar, doesn't matter, come, let's watch a movie. No, sit with them for 15 minutes. You never know what difference you can make, that communication can make, right? So I think as a society, you don't really need a counselor or a coach tag to be there. You being available, we as human beings being available for each other. Let it be social media, let it be mobile. This will keep going on. As I said, let us accept the world has changed. But what human touch can do, still nobody can take it away. So, very important to understand, don't give up and try. The unknown fears, yesterday only somebody said to me that the unknown fears are the most dangerous ones. If you are in a situation where you know it might hurt, pass through it. You have to pass through it. I had done Tony Robbins in Singapore. He had done one session, and his this thing is very famous. One activity he does is the fire walking. So there are coals on the floor, and this is like good. I think 1.5 to 2 kilometer kind of a thing. Not but no. I'm saying more like something of this room sky kind of a size. There are all coals there. So you have to, last session is something like where people will be there to assist you, and you have to walk on those coals. And he prepares you with the mindset that once you are ready from here, you can do anything. And trust me, Yash, when I did, we were so fearful, right? How will you walk on the burning coals? But we all did it. I did it, right? And you pass through it. Whole idea is to break that mindset. I can't. Oh, I'm scared of it. Oh, this relationship. What if I say this, he will break up with me or she'll break up with me? What if I do this, I will lose this person? Don't be fearful. It's okay. Pass through that tough time. You never know. Once you cross through, if it is good, it'll stay. They said Archie's cards, I still remember from my times, that love is like a butterfly, right? You don't have to hold it. If it stays, it's yours. And if it flies away, it never goes, right? Ye- Yeah. So in any relationship, I don't have to hold on because it will stay if it is meant to be. And if we are good for each other, it will. If not, better. Why not free up each other and live a better life, right? So very, very important coming back to self-love. That is why I'm a big promoter of self-love, because everything starts from here, Yash, for sure. That if there are certain things I am not thinking I'm good enough, I will keep finding it in the outside world. And if I don't get, I'll keep hopping. And you might get sometimes, but you might not. And in a relationship, to conclude, I'll just say it is where two people compete each other. You are not competing, you're competing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's completing, right? It's not that he has a vacuum, he will fill your vacuum. Nobody can fill anybody's vacuum. First, you have to fill your vacuum. And with that, if you will go in a relationship, you'll be much stronger.
That makes and a big lot of sense. I think like a lot of our viewers will collect a lot of good information from here. Uh, I think like we'll take one more podcast for the parentinghood and the young adults. I think there are a few topics which we want to discuss. Sure. So that will stay tuned for the next podcast. So yeah, thank you for the time, ma'am. Like anything else you want to add as a punch, Taylor? Anything from Shah Rukh Khan?
Yes, Shah Rukh Khan, of course, as he is one person who is known that he has shown and he spreads a lot of love in light. I always believe, I think one sentence which I learned from Landmark more than Shah Rukh Khan, I'll say that, like, be alive and do not just survive. Right? It's one life. Be alive, live your life, and survival is should not be an option, because it's not meant to be. You are here, God, whoever you believe, you come in this world, utilize and live beautifully, because as Shahrukh says, kalo now.
Thank you so much, Sri, for the time. We'll catch up for the next podcast. So, yes, thank you.